I'm Rich Carroll. This local news is a service of Flagler County's Toyota dealer, Beaver Toyota, here to wow you. Flagler County's vaccine supply is finally starting to catch up with demand. John Arking reports.
As of late last week, Flagler County health officials reported they had about 3,900 doses of COVID vaccine on hand. Gretchen Smith, communications manager and public information officer for the Florida Department of Health in Flagler, says that means they'll now have the ability to break up their team that's been administering shots at the fairgrounds and get out into the community.
We're going to start working with churches. We're going to be at Calvary Baptist. We're going to be at St. Elizabeth Ann Seton. And those churches, initially they're going to be encouraging their parishioners to come, their congregations to be part of this. And then from there, they'll be able to take reservations from the public. But at some point, we are going to start giving it out to pharmacies in Flagler County, like some of the small private pharmacies, also partners like cancer specialists, because we know all their patients need it.
Starting this week, people over 60 can get vaccines, and Flagler County Medical Director Dr. Stephen Bickle says they are finally finding themselves in the preferred phase of vaccine distribution.
We talked a few weeks ago about the different phases. So phase one was lots of demand and very little supply, and now we're hitting phase two, which is still lots of demand and lots of supply. So we're right on track here.
Adding to the good news is the arrival of the Johnson & Johnson one-shot vaccine already in Flagler County, which will allow them to start holding more targeted clinics for area school staff. From the WNZF Newsroom, I'm John Arkin.
Flagler County Sheriff's deputies arrest a man who they say was driving recklessly in a rental car along southbound US 1. Amy Cherry has the story.
On Thursday, deputies tried to pull over 24-year-old Chauncey McCrae, who then fled at a high rate of speed, launching through a swale and someone's driveway, nearly striking a homeowner. After avoiding a tire deflation device, deputies say McCrae went into a driveway and his vehicle went airborne.
He just went through a driveway, he's losing a bumper. I shut it down, coming up to Belterre.
The suspect apparently called his sister, who called deputies to report her brother.
I rented a car, and I had to go to town real quick to go pick my daughter up, and he got the rental car from Enterprise. And I just called Enterprise and explained to him what was going on. They just had to get a police report that my brother was high-speeded in the car. Like, he called my phone and it just told me what he did.
Oh, so your brother called you and told you he was fleeing from the police?
Yeah, and that's why I called you guys, because I'm out of town right now.
The suspect was ultimately arrested on I-95 near mile marker 274 after he had crashed into a semi-truck, lost control, and struck a guardrail. Police say inside McCrae's vehicle they found cocaine, fentanyl, and other drugs. He was charged with a host of counts including aggravated fleeing with serious injury, trafficking fentanyl and oxycodone, possession of drugs with intent to sell, as well as possession of a firearm by a convicted felon.
As we spring forward with daylight saving time, watering restrictions are now in effect. Karen Johnson has the details.
Now that the clocks have sprung forward an hour, the city of Palm Coast reminds you to also roll back your watering schedule and follow some irrigation provisions. Brad West is the senior communications officer with the city of Palm Coast.
We provide this reminder every spring. It's a really good time to review the schedule and restrictions, especially for new residents. And the irrigation schedule is limited to twice a week, with odd-numbered addresses on Wednesdays and Saturdays, and even-numbered addresses on Thursdays and Sundays.
In addition, West says businesses can irrigate on Tuesdays and Fridays, and irrigation is limited to 3/4 of an inch of water per irrigation zone and to no more than 1 hour per irrigation zone. Handheld hoses equipped with automatic shutoff nozzles and drip systems or bubblers are allowed at any time. All of these details and more can be found on the City of Palm Coast website at palmcoastgov.com. For Flagler's Morning News, I'm Karen Johnson.
As state and local authorities debate control over regulations of vacation rentals in Tallahassee, business is booming. That means it's booming in Flagler County, too. That's why Steve Milo, the CEO of V-Trips and founder of the Vacation Rental Pros, was on Real Estate Matters recently. He said that COVID might be a reason.
Year over year, the demand for vacation rentals is skyrocketed as people attempt to socially distance.
Milo said that advanced bookings for those rentals is 130% ahead of last year. You can hear Real Estate Matters every Saturday morning at 11 and every Sunday morning at 9 on WNZF. You can also hear the podcast on the Flagler radio app. Tomorrow, Steve Milo talks about the economic impact that vacation rentals have on the state of Florida. And now you're up to date on Flagler's Morning News. I'm Rich Carroll.